Peki arkadaşlar başlıyoruz.
So why should an entertainment
A very warm welcome to everybody joining MMA EMEA's webinar series, There is No New Normal, where we broadcast this webinar pretty much every Wednesday at this time. My name is Chris Babiodi, and I'm the MMA EMEA MD. I'm really excited to be your facilitator today. Today's webinar is brought to you with our partners AdColony, and it's focused on gamification, how to best take advantage of the growth in mobile gaming. Delighted to welcome a host of subject matter experts and industry leaders to this webinar. We've a packed agenda today, 2 sessions that will culminate in an agency and client panel discussion in about 25 minutes from now. So let me now hand over to our first set of speakers. Please welcome Duncan and Tom from GlobalWebIndex.
Thank you so much, Chris. Welcome. I'm so pleased to be able to join you and show you some of our insights around the mobile gaming topic in the UK. So quick introduction. My name's Duncan. I'm an account manager here at GWI, based in London. And joining me is my colleague Tom, a member of our trends team and all-round gaming enthusiast.
Hello.
Next slide, please. That's our faces, and you have our email address there. But just to talk you through what we're going to be presenting in the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to be giving you a whistle-stop tour of some of our GWI data to analyse the latest mobile gaming landscape in the UK, as well as addressing some of the biggest stereotypes and potentially misconceptions you may have about this gaming audience and how particular sub-audiences differ in their attitudes and preferences when mobile gaming.
Thanks, Dunk. But just before we get started, I'm going to give you all a brief overview into who we are at GWI. So can we just have the next slide, please? Cheers. For those of you who aren't familiar with us, GWI is a market research company home to the world's largest panel of consumers at 22 million across 46 markets. The insights we'll be discussing today are taken from our ongoing core survey with additional support from our New Zeitgeist dataset. In this presentation, we're going to be using an audience of mobile gamers defined as 16 to 64-year-old internet users in the UK who say they play games on smartphones, tablets, or a feature phone as of Q3 2020. Next slide, please. Just so to kick things off, we're going to set the scene a little bit first and look at the current mobile gaming landscape in the UK and Europe. Next slide. So UK internet users are keen mobile gamers, and 58% define as such. In the past 3 years, however, we've seen the activity explode across other European markets. It's seen the UK displaced from the 3rd most prominent market for mobile gamers in 2017 to 13th as of Q3 2020. But when we segment this differently, you'll see that the UK climb up the rankings for older mobile gamers, who we define as Gen X and baby boomers from here on out, and female mobile gamers. Those are 2 audience segments we're going to be paying pretty close attention to today. Next slide, please.
So more generally, in the UK, smartphones continue to be the leading device for gaming. Last year in Q2 2020, we saw mobile gaming jump up to the highest percentage we've seen in the last few years, up to 53% of all UK internet users. And between that wave Q2 and the next Q3, we did see a slight drop from this peak to 51%, but it's still important to remember that this is higher engagement than any wave we saw in 2019, or in fact 2018 before that. And while console gaming has seen a slight increase recently, perhaps in some part caused by the launch of next-gen consoles, it still lies some way off mobile gaming. And this gap is only really likely to increase as smartphones' processing power and other functionalities continue to evolve and accommodate different types of gamers' needs.
It's also worth reiterating the impact that first lockdown had on mobile gaming. So in custom research fielded in October, we found that 61% of mobile gamers say they were playing more games since the start of the pandemic. And you take into account that we're in the middle of our 3rd national lockdown right now, it's likely those same internet users are once again going to turn to mobile games as a popular leisure activity. But what's really important to take note of is who it is that's likely to be doing this. Next slide, please.
So when we're thinking about mobile gaming's future, we really need to look below the surface and understand mobile gamers in a bit more demographically or attitudinally nuanced ways. So generally, males and younger audiences like Gen Z and millennials lead the way for gaming activity across different devices like consoles and PCs. But in the UK, mobile gaming is actually more popular among females than males. In fact, it's been higher in every wave of GWI data since we started tracking this in early 2015. This gap between males and females is most prominent among our youngest age bracket, 16 to 24-year-olds. So while a respectable 64% of 16 to 24 males are mobile gaming in the UK, this rises to an impressive 72% among their female counterparts.
Now, at the same time, older mobile gamers are also on the rise. Though younger audiences have always led for mobile gaming, the percentage of older users playing mobile games rose above 40% in Q2 2020 for the first time, and it hasn't looked back since. I think mobile gaming is just really showing how out of date some of those preconceptions about gaming can be.
Yeah, definitely. And more generally, we've actually shed light on this baby boomer tech trend in our most recent annual trends report, which is called Connecting the Dots, where as a result of the pandemic, we've analysed the effect of older consumers needing to rely on the internet more than ever before. But with this increasing adoption and familiarity of tech among older consumers, inevitably what can follow is a growing awareness of their digital footprint, which I touch more on a little bit later. Next slide, please.
So a little brief history lesson. When I was little, my mum used to use an egg timer to stop me overindulging on the PlayStation. And while times have definitely changed, you can see from this chart on the left that time is still an important factor to all mobile gamers, with 32% saying they worry about spending too much time on mobiles. So among younger and female audiences, who generally spend the most time online, this worry is particularly prominent, which has led to more consumers opting to track and monitor their time online. In the last month, 20% of mobile gamers say they track their screen time or set limits for certain apps, with females in this audience actually 47% more likely to have done either of these things. Now, while younger audiences are more likely than their older counterparts to care about their time online and to try and control it, it's privacy that's an issue that affects all segments here.
Yeah, not older mobile gamers are not actually that far behind other demographics in saying that they worry about how companies are using their data online. As they come to rely on the internet more and more for things like banking, shopping, socializing, and more generally entertainment, this is only likely to increase. And much like how younger audiences are tracking their time online, these older gamers are now looking to safeguard their privacy. Mobile gamers aged 55 to 64 are the most likely to say they prefer to be anonymous online. And we're increasingly seeing older internet users using VPNs, increasing from 19% to 24% in our last 4 waves of data.
Yeah, there's clearly divergent attitudes towards new tech, privacy, and social media that brands just need to understand on a more granular level if they're going to be able to communicate with these audiences more effectively. Next slide, please. Cheers. So we know a little bit more about the UK mobile gaming landscape and the audiences driving it. Now we're just going to take a closer look at the factors behind that engagement. When asked what features matter most in mobile gaming, 56% of UK mobile gamers said the game should be free to download. And this is really important if mobile gaming is going to continue introducing new audiences. Among female or older mobile gamers, for example, a game being free is vital, with these groups preferring a more casual gaming experience. But there are some exceptions among more stereotypical segments who value something more from that gaming experience. For example, younger male mobile gamers are 74% more likely than the average UK mobile gamer to say that online multiplayer is important. And interestingly, they're actually 21% less likely to say a game should be free.
Yeah, the value of free gaming can't really be overstated. But we also can't ignore that committed gamers are now turning to mobiles too, and they're going to expect more from their experience.
Games which offer more of these features are going to help positioning mobile gaming as a legitimate alternative to the likes of consoles and PCs. But moreover, it actually reduces any backlash about ads too. 40% of UK mobile gamers say that games should have as few ads as possible, but this drops to 32% among younger segments, who are more likely to see an advert as a value exchange.
So even with mobile gaming getting more serious, there's no denying that there's an ever-present demand for fun, casual experiences too. Among all UK mobile gamers, 55% say the main reason they play games is to either pass the time or to relax and relieve stress. And given the current climate, this makes a lot of sense. The casual nature of gaming appeals to anyone, but it's particularly valued, I think, by female gamers and older gamers, both of which enjoy dipping in and out of the game when it suits them and taking advantage of the flexibility that this pastime offers.
And you add into account that free gaming is also a priority to these groups, and you can see that despite some huge advancements in mobile gaming, that casual appeal just isn't going away. And if that's not clear from what they expect in games, it couldn't be more apparent from what they're actually playing. Next slide, please. You see, though we're far removed from the days of Snake and on the old Nokia models, you've got gamers today running for these vast open worlds or like fast-paced death matches. And this is why the action and shooter open world genres are getting some serious attention in the last month. That said, we've got to talk about the casual appeal and how important it is to mobiles. And we can't do this without drawing attention to that puzzle genre right there.
So brands are right to be eyeing up these huge-scale games as a source of ad opportunity, but the puzzle genre really isn't showing any signs of budging. In fact, it's going from strength to strength, having actually climbed 12 percentage points since Q3 2018. So we're going to see some more committed gaming audiences on mobiles down the line for sure, but this universal appeal of casual genres like puzzles and board games has to be addressed.
So let's look at these preferences by gender. Males generally play shooters, sports and racing titles, while puzzles actually take a bit of a backseat. 36% of male mobile gamers have played one in the last month. But switch to female or older gamers, and puzzle games form a central role in their gaming lives. It's one of the few genres that has a cross-generational, timeless appeal, and that transitions well into mobile gaming.
So whether the key segments of mobile gamers we've discussed today transition to more hardcore gaming habits, or they stay committed to casual gaming for the long term, they will of course remain a staple of mobile gaming in the UK. And so understanding and engaging them should be a priority of anyone looking at the in-game advertising space.
So before handing you back, I'm just going to close off on some of the key things to remember from our webinar. Number one, the smartphone is the leading method for gaming in the UK. And following the outbreak, lockdown-induced cravings have injected this new energy into the activity. Number two, with female mobile gamers outnumbering their male counterparts and older consumers now waking up to gaming, we're actually redefining our previous preconceptions about gaming stereotypes. Number three, overindulgence is something that younger or female mobile gamers are growing increasingly aware of, but at the same time, privacy is always a concern, particularly for older mobile gamers too, with each of these groups now taking further steps to control their online behaviours. And lastly, mobile gaming is getting more serious, but it isn't leaving its roots behind either. The casual style remains an important staple of mobile gaming, and it has that necessary appeal to entice new audiences. Thank you everyone, and I'm going to hand you back now. Enjoy the rest of the webinar.